Hey, what's up? Welcome to DGen Ed. That's degenerative education, meaning none of this is financial advice. Just me having fun, looking at charts like the charts behind me. And so this is pre-market prep on January 22nd. I am recording this rather than streaming it because I have work today, but I did want to go over some of the charts, including the volatility index, the SPY or SPX, S&P 500, and Bitcoin before getting into a little bit of options data on some of the tickers that I do cover every Saturday during the highly regarded options theses. And I think I'm coming up on week 13 this week. So anyways, let's dive into the data. I am recording this around 6 a.m. Eastern, and here we are looking at the UVIX, which is the 2x long VIX futures ETF. There are two reasons why I like to trade this one. One is because I don't need to do options, so there's no expiration date. I can just kind of accumulate as we do form bottoms here, and also because I do think that the moves to the upside are pretty similar to what you get with the VIX. And so what we see here is that yesterday on the 21st, the UVIX came down to 2790, being down over 8% on the day, and we did test this level here at 2778. That was based on a Fibonacci extension drawn over here, and actually I believe that is based on pre-market and after hours price action. And so, right around $28 there, we did hit that level. And so for me, the next level that I am looking for with the UVIX is going to be right around $25, approximately corresponding with this light blue downtrend here that we can see price has resided in for quite some time, as we have had, these, big up moves followed by down moves, and, kind of repeating that process. So I just think this is a really nice way to hedge the market. If it does come down one day, this will go up, and then you can roll that cash into stocks that are at a discount. So I just think it's really nice. And so, over here we do have this 1 for 10 reverse split. The prices that we're seeing, yesterday's closing price, $27.90. That used to be $2.79. But yeah, so let's just look over at the 10-minute chart. We can see the price action from yesterday's after hours and today's pre-market trading. It looks like it began right around here, so being kind of flat, but then kind of dropping down a little bit, and still, just residing right around that $27.78 level. So, I think that's been a pretty nice level to be keeping in mind. But, the big question is $28 going to be acting as that support, or are we going to fade a little bit lower? And I suspect that to be the case. So personally, I'm being patient for $25 at this point. And then one thing I did want to point out from this Fibonacci extension here, I need to switch over to the after hours and pre-market price action. We can see that Fibonacci extension actually is based on the during market hours trading, going from the low or the high here down to this low that was on the 16th, and then up to right around the closing price there. And so that's how I get this 100% $27.78 level. And one way that we can, get an assessment of that, what that distance would be, that drop, just take, the measurement from here and then move that over to that high. And that should line up, with that 100% level, because that is what it is based on. But then anyways, I'm going to switch over to the daily because the VIX does not include pre-market and after hours trading. I probably need to clean this up a little bit for these videos. But what we can see is, this uptrend that I drew here. Let's see, let's make that. For now, I'm going to make it light blue because I like that color. We can see that there was this level that was acting as support based on the low of December 6th. And then, getting the other pivot point to be, right around the low from December 24th. And we also, tested it over here on December 13th. So kind of bouncing from that level before going up. Let's see, 74% on December 18th. And if we actually look over at the UVIX, that was 74% over here. What was it in the UVIX? That was actually over the course of a few trading days. And we can see that price went up, about 79%. So, while not all on one day, I do think that is a pretty nice, similarity between the UVIX and the VIX. So, just one of those reasons why I do enjoy following the UVIX. And so, this uptrend that was support does look like we tested it on January 15th, kind of reclaimed it on the 16th, but then faded following that. And yesterday we closed at 1506, being down 4.74% on the day. So not really looking so great there, but what are some levels that I could see this coming down to? One is this white downtrend, as well as this level here, the lows from over here. That's going to correspond with about 1446. The downtrend at this point would be right around this yellow line at 1270, which was the low from December 6th, which is, where I base that uptrending level at. So, I suspect that we will fade lower to around $13 a share. Also, that's corresponding with this, white downtrend. So I could definitely see that. But if we are able to reclaim this uptrend, that would be getting up to around, $17. Then I think we might start to see, kind of a volatility spike like we did on the 18th over here. So that is what I would be looking for. But I expect this to fade over the next, I would say, week or so, really just kind of based on, these patterns that I had noticed, but really they got kind of wonky because of all of the 4-day weeks that we've had. We, of course, are having one this week with Martin Luther King Day having been on the 20th. And so, what I see is that we're probably going to see another week or so of price residing down here. Maybe this is the last week, and next week we start to see the price of the UVIX going up. But again, I personally am being patient, waiting for 25. And then if we look over at the SPX, this of course does not have after hours or pre-market trading. So we're just looking at the closing price from yesterday, January 21st, which was at $6,049.24, being up almost 1% on the day. And so it does look like, I believe yesterday I was talking about this spinning top here being this nice kind of doji opening and closing right around the same level. I was thinking it was possible that could be a top. Maybe we'd be retesting this yellow downtrend, but it does look like, as you can see, we continued higher. And I suspect that we will be bumping into some resistance. Let's see, right around $6,070. Here it says $6,068. Let's have fun with it. Let's say $6,069. That could be a short-term top here. I think that we will see some resistance there, either before consolidating and then breaking above this level, or maybe pulling back to test one of these levels down here, ranging from around $5,980 down to potentially, this yellow downtrend, which could be coming down to around, let's say, $5,900 just to be safe. But here the cursor is at $5,932. And so, yeah, that is what I see with this. I do suspect that we will be, at some point this year, eclipsing these all-time highs of $6,099.97. But, of course, we could be seeing some pullbacks before then, so good to keep that in mind. But if I do look over at the SPY, this, of course, does include pre-market price action, so we can kind of get an idea of how this is responding. And this should be a pretty similar price to the SPX, just divided by 10, approximately. And so, as I do have drawn here in my doodle, that I think that we could be pulling back to around $600 here. It looks like the red line is at $596.07. Of course, just being approximate. But then this yellow downtrend would be coming, let's say $590. So keep that in mind. But I don't have, the parallel channel that I have drawn over here, which would suggest, let's see, that price will be going a little bit higher, and it does appear that we are seeing that in the pre-market. So if I do switch over to the 10-minute time scale, yeah, I mean, we saw price floating up yesterday in the after hours, gap up for today with January 22nd starting here. And we saw a high so far in the pre-market of $605.79. Quite possible that we are going to maybe see a little bit of a cool off today once the market opens. But this could also continue higher. It's only $2 away from the all-time high for the SPY, which was $607.03. So that is a level that will be good to keep in mind. So I'm just going to draw that line there. And of course, you can guess I'm going to make that the nice soothing light blue. So we can keep that in mind. And maybe I want to do something similar with, the high over here. So that looks like it's the exact right level to the penny. So I'm just going to mark that there. So those are two levels that we could be coming up to today, perhaps getting rejected from, perhaps consolidating around before moving higher. So that is, again, with the SPX, $6,069, or maybe getting up to around $6,010. So keep those levels in mind. Another one that I want to be going over in these pre-market preps is the Bitcoin price action. We can see that it is currently trading around $105,000. And, it looks like it's consolidating up here, maybe putting in some topping wicks. So we might be seeing a retest of 103,000 or so. The orange line here marked at 102,800. But I do believe that is an approximate level. If I do flip over to the chart over here, we can see that, that high would be based on, this was the high from the 6th of January. It does look like there's a little bit higher high on the 7th based on the chart here in TradingView, which I would think is a little bit better than the one from Webull. And that level is right around, again, 103,000. Here marked at $102,700 and about $36. So if we do pull back to around 103, I'd expect that to be acting as support. I do think that Bitcoin and crypto in general will be moving higher with the new Bitcoin president, or really, crypto president, as he has, released some meme coins. I don't think that he necessarily really understands the real value, the true value and utility of Bitcoin versus other cryptocurrencies. But I think that's all just part of the learning curve in crypto. People get very distracted by the altcoins, the meme coins, all of that. That's what gets them to onboard into the crypto community. That kind of happened with me with Dogecoin. But then, over time, I learned more and really see the value in Bitcoin. I think that we could be seeing this hit $200,000 at some point this year. So, that's what I'm looking forward to. But, I never know if this is going to be dumping on us, a liquidity dump over here, pushing people out of their stop losses, going below 90,000 and then pumping higher. Just 2 weeks from that panic in the market, we then hit all-time highs, getting up to 109,000. So pretty crazy there. And then so quickly, I did just want to go over some stocks that stood out to me based on the unusual whales data that I've been looking at. These are all tickers that I do go over in that Saturday highly regarded options theses that I always forget the name to, just trying to have some fun with it. And so one of them that has been looking good to me is Hycroft Mining. Its ticker symbol HYMC. Although yesterday, I do think that we have put in maybe a little bit of a topping signal with this big wick to the upside, but that could also be a fake out. It is quite possible that we are breaking out from this downtrend that you can see here. That was resistance going back to October 22nd when we hit a high of $2.94. So I would look for this potentially to continue higher. It does look like in the pre-market, if we switch over to the 10-minute time scale, it is down about 4 cents. So do consider that. But really what I wanted to go over is the data in unusual whales. So here we've got Hycroft Mining. So this is the data from yesterday. Unfortunately, because I'm not able to stream this, I have to record it before going to work. This is the data that I will be showing from January 21st. But what we see here is that, as price, wicked up and then came back down, we see the net put premium coming down, being negative, selling of puts. That's good. We also see the same thing with the net call premium also being negative. Not too much money traded amongst these. Net put premiums down only about $3,000, whereas net call premiums not even down $2,000. But if we do look at this, we do see the volume over the course of the day flipping green. And if I do show you the bear bull slider, it does look like the majority is on the bullish side. So it's quite possible Hycroft Mining could be putting in a bottom soon, or maybe retesting this downtrend before launching. So do keep that in mind. I feel like this could be hitting $3 in the next few months, but maybe it takes a little bit longer than that. And so the next one here is Intel. I've gone on about this one, just released a video on it. I'm super excited about it because the data from Unusual Whales does suggest that bears are running away. This is the level that I believe I drew, let's see, yesterday. Thinking about, the price action from the pre-market does look like we broke below that, so that's not really a valid level of support anymore, but it does look like it's consolidating here after that move up, but perhaps it is putting in a topping signal, as we did get a gap up, a wick to the upside, and a close right around the bottom there. So I do suspect that this will be retracing, perhaps coming down to around $21, maybe coming down to $20. So do keep that in mind. And the pre-market does look like it's up about 20 cents, about 1% there. But let's look over at the Unusual Whales data so we can see what's going on with INTC. And so this one, I'm actually surprised. I thought I was going over just the ones that were bullish, but I just kind of wanted to follow up on this. This one actually looks more bearish, kind of got the 47% or majority on the bearish side. However, if we do compare the numbers, the bearish to the bullish, and with only 6 million there being neutral, it's kind of 50-50. So I'm curious about this. Does look like the net put premium was going up, went up by $927,500, whereas net call premium went down by 2.26 million, and the volume was down. So that does suggest a lot of calls being sold. So I do think that we have put in kind of a short-term top here. I was expecting this to be bullish, so I'm kind of surprised I had it on the list, because if it's bearish, don't really need to be thinking about it too much. Wait for it to pull back. And another thing, I believe maybe I mentioned this gap. We do have the closing price from January 16th. That was at a price of $19.67. So I'm just going to mark a dashed thicker blue line there to note that there is a gap that has not yet been filled. Maybe price does come down to around $20 to fill that gap, or maybe it just gets to these levels up here. So do keep that in mind with Intel. So Mara is another one. This one, I was saying that I think that this could be getting into some resistance around this purple uptrend. Perhaps it's just approximate. Perhaps this is a little fake out pullback before continuing higher. But I do think that this could be coming down to around $17 a share, perhaps $18, coming down about $1.50, if not more. In the pre-market, it does look like it's down about 1%. Looking at the 10-minute time scale, it does look like it's fading lower, but when it opens, could be reclaiming what it has faded to the downside. But let's look over at the data here. We can see that this one, I actually feel a little bit more confident about that. This one, I do feel like it will be moving up towards that purple uptrend and could be breaking higher. So, and I feel a little bit more confident because of the data here. We do have the net call premium going up, ending the day being up by about $4.5 million. And we do see the volume here reflecting that buying of calls. So that looks good. Whereas the net put premium is down a little bit, being down $270,000. But relative to that net call premium, the puts look like they're basically flat. Calls do look good. And if we do look at the bear bull slider here, we do have the majority on the bullish side, but it is less than 50%, so do consider that. Another one is NEO, and NEO, I think that we're getting pretty close to, breaking out here, but we just got a little bit of a pullback yesterday on the 21st, coming down about 4%, but it does look like, just like Mara and Intel, I believe, actually just like Intel, being up about 1% in the pre-market. If I switch over to the 10-minute time frame, just kind of floating up there. But this actually looks like it's a little bit of a mini bull flag upside move consolidation, although that angle to the downside does look a little steep. So maybe this is going to continue lower, maybe to around $4.09 or right around $4. I do think that this light blue uptrend will be acting as support, and we could be seeing, a retest of, let's say, this purple dashed line that will be getting to above $5 a share, and beyond that, I think 7 and 8 are on the table. But let's look over at the unusual whales data for NEO. And we can see that this one, we do have net call premium ending the day positive. And, net put premium does look like there was some selling of puts at the beginning of the day, but then kind of bumped up to being about neutral. The net put premium went down by about 10,000 on the 21st, whereas net call premium went up by over $280,000. And it does look like there was, majority of selling for the most of the day, but then because of that pump in the net call premium, does look like it ended the day right around neutral, with volume being down by only 560, so being pretty close to flat there. And then looking over at the bear bull slider here, that is kind of 50-50, 49 being in the majority on the bullish side. Sorry about that. But it's approximately 50-50. But I do think that this big move towards the end of the day, that does give me a little bit more confidence in NEO. I do think that the bottom is near. They're just testing us, keeping us patient, rewarding those who are patient. Plug, this is one that I'm a little bit concerned about, but I do think that this is probably a fake out. I do have this uptrend drawn going back to the low from November 12th. That has been notable support. We did close below it on the 21st at a price of $2.20, but I suspect that's a fake out and that we will be going higher. But we could be retesting this purple downtrend that really just kind of an approximate level. Maybe it's not so significant, but coming down to that would be getting to right around $2.05. So keep that in mind. But like I said, I do think that this will be bouncing, as we do also have this red line here that was some notable support going back to January 18th of 2024, so a year ago, bouncing from that level before breaking below it. Now I think that will be acting as support. We just need to get above $2.26.3. So look for that, and perhaps a reclaim of the 786 here at $2.37 or 38 cents. But if we do look at the unusual whales data, I think this one actually got me to be fairly excited, or at least maybe it just got me to feel a little bit neutral, thinking that the downside here could be just about over. And so what we see is net call premium being negative, also the net put premium being negative, but the put premium being more negative than the calls. So maybe that's suggesting that bottom's in and that this is going to start to turn around. So net call premium ended the day down $31,000, whereas net put premium ended the day around $56,000 down. And that bear bull slider, again, looking to be right around 50-50, just like the other ones, but more so on the bullish side. And so that does make me think a lot of these stocks are getting ready to turn around. So that is what I am looking forward today. But of course, I'm going to be at work, so that sucks. But it is what it is. Good news about yesterday is I did not get selected to be on the jury, so I get to live my normal life now. But anyways, as always, those are just my thoughts. If you found them helpful, make sure you like the video, share your thoughts in the comments down below, and make sure you subscribe to the channel for more videos like this and pre-market prep. Take care, you guys, and have a nice day trading. Bye.